Welcome to the stream, Millennial Entrepreneurs. Happy Sunday. It's been a couple weeks. Been busy. I know I said I'd do this every week. I'll amend that to almost every week. Hope your weeks are going well. Hope everybody's prospering, making sales, closing deals. Yeah, so anyway, let's get into it. Great stream set for tonight. But first, I got a joke for you. Feel free to use this. Feel free to steal it. I was talking to a dude the other day, and old cross-country buddy of mine, and he was from Ethiopia. And Ethiopians are notorious for being great distance runners, and they're also very skinny. And Ethiopia is not the richest country in the world, for sure. And he said, "Kris, have you ever had Ethiopian food?" And I said, "No, what's it like?" And he looked at me and he said, "I don't know, I've never had it either." Oh, I thought that was funny. But yeah, anyway, on to the stream. Big news about Nike. They posted that Kaepernick ad. What was it? Believe in something even if it means sacrificing everything. Okay, that's very controversial. A lot of people have asked me my opinion about this, and honestly, I think it's great. I'm an open conservative, but it's free publicity. I mean, it's all over the news. Conservatives, liberals, whatever your point of view is, you're talking about it, you're posting about it, you're giving Nike free exposure. And this is exactly how Trump won the election. And same thing with Elon Musk. I think it was last week he smoked marijuana on camera on the Joe Rogan Experience, which is a very popular podcast, I think, originally. It has video, though. And Tesla shares took a nosedive. But, I mean, I think they're like 268, 263 right now. And I happen to own some Tesla, so I wasn't happy about that. But long term, this is good. It's free exposure. And, you know, all publicity is good publicity. I mean, you talk about bad publicity, the whole Stormy Daniels thing, Russian prostitutes. Trump got elected despite all that, and it's because of it, I think. It was not good things. That everybody was saying terrible things about him, all the news networks, and he won. So that just goes to show, be controversial in your life. If you believe that. If you don't just be controversial to be controversial. But it's definitely good to stir up some ruckus once in a while. But yeah, anyway. So I was thinking about this, and one of the things on the thumbnail, why is my girlfriend not pregnant? Yeah, no. Let me explain that. So we've been together for 4.5 years, and everybody, she desperately wants to be a mother. That's what she wants to do. She's 23, I'm 22. Why haven't we started yet? I have a successful business. I have my own apartment. I have, my car, everything. I pay everything. Why aren't we married? And the short answer is, I don't know. So it made me think about maybe I should get married. I just want to make sure that I'm ready, to take care of kids and stuff. Because when you're young, you make a lot of mistakes. But yeah, I promised her, I'll put this out there on the internet, I promised her she would have a child in her by 2019. She would be carrying a child by 2019. So internet, that is a promise. If my girlfriend is not my wife and pregnant by 2019, you can dislike the video or something. You really can't do anything, but it holds me to a higher standard when I put it out there. So yeah, open to do that. So anyway, diversity in business. What is the deal? Why is it so important? Why does everybody say it's important? Diversity, diversity, diversity. And the short answer, I have no idea. And I don't think most people do. So is it important? And they talk about the STEM field, which was something like 80% male dominated and probably still is. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics or something. I think that's what it stands for. I don't get it. Why do we need, 50% white, 50% black, whatever, proportionate to the population? In STEM, it's a gender. Why do we need diversity? And I'm not against diversity by any means, but I think the kind of diversity that we really need is the diversity of points of view. And that can definitely be tied to skin color or gender. But that you shouldn't hire someone just because they're black and you have all white employees, or vice versa. You should hire them because they're a good accountant and not take race because they're going to make you money. That's why you hire somebody. It's not because of their skin color, gender, length of their hair. That's not why logical people hire people. We hire people so they can make us money. And it should be based on merit. But the reason I say we should have diversity of points of view is because what if you're solving a problem? You want people from different backgrounds. Not necessarily ethnic backgrounds, although that certainly could factor in, like I said. But generally, you want somebody who maybe grew up poor and they, they did some stupid thing that, not stupid, some thing to get by that the rich kid who graduated at an Ivy League college would have no idea about. You want a college dropout, maybe you want a high school dropout. I don't know, but hire the best person. When you're putting together a team, it should be a no-brainer. But they always push for more women in STEM. Why? What if women don't want to do STEM? Is that bad? It's not a bad thing. For example, my girlfriend currently works at, and I hate to say that my girlfriend works, because I don't like making her do that, and I'm not making her do that, but she doesn't really like the concept of work. She wants to be a mother, which is a whole different type of work. But yeah, and I think it's important to have someone designated to raise my children, our children. I mean, I'm not going to give that to a stranger. It's huge. I think stay-at-home moms are being shamed, and they shouldn't be. But anyway, a little rusty here, guys. Trying not to ramble. So, as far as diversity goes, she works at a cake decorating place, and every single employee there is female. Now, should we push to have males in there? Of course not. What about the NBA? That's like 90% black, maybe not 90% black, but majority black, tall, 6'4", basketball players. Should we push to have, dwarves? Maybe we could have a dwarf basketball league, but it wouldn't be fair. So anyway, something to think about. You don't always have to have diversity. And you should never have diversity just for diversity's sake. Anyway, got our book review here. It's called The One Thing by Gary Keller, and there's a co-author. But yeah, basically, it's a great book. I read it on Audible. I've read it 3 times, I think. Great. I just wrote down some notes here. The key element is focusing on one thing at a time. One thing. And choice is important. So basically, you decide what you want, your big goal. Okay, I want to be, in 10 years, I want to own a private real estate firm that rents apartments and definitely actually be listed on the New York Stock Exchange or something, open for people to buy in. I want to take on investors. And okay, that's great. How do I do that? Okay, and then, before that, I would have to rent an office in Grand Rapids. Before that, I would have to find the investors. Before I find the investors, I would have to work on my sales pitch. Before I work on my sales pitch, I would have to, I guess I could start working on my sales pitch. But before that, I would have had to have sales knowledge, and knowledge of the industry. So pick your big goal. I want to have a perfect marriage. I will have a perfect marriage. I don't want to. I will. Okay, how do I do that? What makes a perfect marriage? Work your way back. Okay, two people. You know, generally women like it when you buy them flowers. Actually, interesting fact about women, frequency of affection is more important than size of affection. So if you take her one night a year to a $2,000 a seat opera in New York City, and you spend, let's say, 10 grand there on wine, hotel, whatever, and you do that once a year, you're not going to have a good relationship. But if you buy her one flower every day, it's going to be a far better relationship. And that's from the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And it's great. Psychology of man versus woman. But apparently we're the same, so cigars out. Anyway, yeah, so find what you want. Figure out what you can do to achieve that. What steps do I need to take? And that's in all areas of life. The next big thing is called the Pareto Principle. It's talked about in most business books. They also call it the 80-20 rule. 80% of your results come from 20% of what you do. Let's see. And so, thought I had something else. No, I don't. And so you have to figure out, okay, now that I know that my one thing is, okay, 80% of my business comes from 20% of what I do, my activity, I got to find out what that activity is and then focus only on that, or mostly on that. And then, you know, it's the same in business. 80% of car salesmen do 20% of the business, and 20% of car salesmen do 80% of the business. That is a fact. We gravitate towards that. That is why socialism does not work. Anyway, one of the many reasons. Next point, and I'm trying to do this quick. I write way too much down when I read. 4-hour time blocks. Basically, the author is saying that, you know, you can't really go 8 hours just working. So, you know, set a block in your office where you're not bothered by anybody. This is why I hate those open concept offices with glass walls. They're sexy, but they're terrible for productivity because it's like, you know, you can see all the distractions. So get yourself in your workspace, cut off all other distractions, figure out what you need to do, work on it straight for 4 hours, only focus on that thing. And this is a very challenging thing to do because social media, our phones are always blowing up. It's terrible, but it gets easier as you do it, which brings me to my next point, habits. It's important to build great habits. The way you do that is, okay, what habits, subset of the domino thing, okay, this is my one thing. I want to become the top salesperson at this, you know, car company, insurance company. What habits are going to get me there? As proven by other people. And this is why it's important to read about other entrepreneurs. And then you have to ask yourself every morning, and I try to do this, I write my goals down every day, but you can't do everything that every book says, ever. It's just not possible. You have to ask yourself, what is the one question that I can ask myself today? Oh, too much caffeine. What is the one task that if I accomplished it right now would make all other things easier? And maybe that's, okay, if I closed this one deal, that would give me cash, that would make my marriage better, that would make adding to my personal happiness better. Maybe it's organizing your office. Okay, if I do one thing today, what do I have to do? Make everything else easier. Maybe I should clean my office or pay somebody to do that. But anyway, yeah. And you can have one thing for each subset of your life. And this is, Ty Lopez breaks this down very, very well. Health, wealth, love, happiness. And in happiness, I subset that with charity/kids. In my life anyway, but I think happiness and charity go hand in hand. What can you do to make the world a better place? Philanthropy, volunteering, whatever. Okay, in health, what's the one thing you try to do? One thing every day that makes everything else easier. And if you do them all, if I exercise in the morning, that's my one thing I do for health. And generally I exercise in the afternoon, but it's going to make me feel better. Healthy people feel better. And in comparison, and in addition, what is the one thing I can do for my wealth? Okay, if I close a deal, that means I have money. That means I can pay for my gym membership, which in turn builds my wealth or my health habit. And so these are all intertwined. Same thing with love. You know, it's very difficult to find love if you're broke. That's just a fact. Especially if you're male. It's not fair, it's just the way it is. But I don't mind. Life is not fair. I don't care. But anyway, if I find love, it gives me kind of a purpose. You know, if I meet a girl, go on a date with her, marry her, have her carrying my child, that's a huge motivator for business and productivity. And that's what the one thing is, really. It's a business book. Yeah, it's a productivity book. Drinking lemon tea. And then the other category, of course, happiness. What can I do today that will increase my happiness? Maybe happiness is a lot of little things. People tend to think that business and you have to do what makes you happy. No, you don't. It doesn't make me happy to make cold calls all day. And I would say that it makes very few people happy. Long term, it makes you happy. It doesn't make me happy to, let's say, mow lawns or be a garbage man. But the world needs that. It makes the world a better place. I get an income. Therefore, I can support my family and do my hobbies. And it's very important to have hobbies. Happiness is one thing that I associate with hobbies as well as charity. And I am huge into hobbies. I think more men should have hobbies. They should do something with their own two hands, not video games, although video games, I guess, could count. But it's totally different. Like woodworking or blacksmithing, I do both. Or cigar collecting. I actually just made this chair with my bare hands and a chainsaw. But I went in the woods. I found all these pieces of wood, cut down the trees, I dried them out. I used hand tools to mortise and tenon them together, which is a woodworking term. And then I glued it, and I enjoy doing that. It's fulfilling. It's happy, and that's what I think the fourth thing is. So do something every day that makes you happy, like a hobby. Built that for my girlfriend, by the way. 2 birds with 1 stone. Make my love category go up. But yeah, consciously make an effort to fill in these 4 categories every single day. And one great quote from the one thing that really stuck with me: if you chase 2 rabbits, you won't catch either one. And this ties into that nonsense idea that you have to have multiple streams of income. You should have multiple streams of income, by the way, but not right away. I mean, you can only focus on one thing at a time. Focus on, okay, I have an engineering business. I'll focus on my engineering business all the way. I'm not trying to do that and trade Bitcoin at night. It's a recipe for disaster. Focus on one thing at a time. Once you get that one thing up and running, in each category, you obviously can't have 2 wives, unless you're Mormon. But yeah, focus on one thing at once. And then outsource it. Once you've built a great company, hire people to run it, move on to your next venture. What else? Habits. Oh, before we go, finish with this point from the book, The 4 Productivity Thieves That Steal From You, outlined in the book. That is the inability to say no. Hey, you want to go to the bar tonight, hang out? Well, I have nothing better to do because I don't focus on my goals. Okay. That steals time away from your precious 4-hour time block or whatever you choose to do. Chaos. Got hit by a car or something. Planning to do a live stream, but my house burned down. Wife is mad at me because I left my dirty underwear on the floor. Anyway, that comes in all forms, so you have to guard against it and take personal responsibility. Okay, that was my fault because I put my underwear on the floor. I won't do that again. My fault. I left the stove on. The house burned down. I still have to protect my time blocks because that is my one thing above all others. Anyway, and that's one thing for work, the time block. You don't have to spend a 4-hour time block working on your physique. Benched 185 today, by the way. Getting back into it. Health. Health is it's listed as a category, but it's also essential. You can't be 600 pounds and be an entrepreneur. Well, you can, but not a Bill Gates is in shape, Warren Buffett is in shape, fairly in shape. You don't have to be ripped, but you do have to eat well enough, not eat fast food regularly, I guess. I don't eat fast food at all, but you have to maintain good health in order to be productive. You'll feel better if you drop 20 pounds. Most people, unless you're anorexic, then you have to gain weight. Anyway, I gotta stop rambling. This is why I haven't run ads. The fourth thief of productivity is your environment. If you're in, let's say, your office and there's banging on the wall and, phone's ringing, you can't get anything done, and you're trying to write a novel. You can't write a novel with that many distractions. And so you have to, block off a space that is perfect for what you're trying to accomplish. An example of love would be taking your wife on a trip to California, but staying in the cheapest motel in Los Angeles to save money. That is not a productive environment for love. She will hate you. Anyway, I'll finish with that. I'm going to relight my cigar, and have a good night, guys. I'm getting back into it. I know it's been a couple weeks, but expect more regularly. I'm also going to start posting videos, like actual videos, not live streams, because they're easier and they're less awkward / cringy than this can be. Anyway, I'm Kris Schwieman. I'll see you later. I also got a secret project I'm working on. I will tell you when it is up. Thanks for watching.